Shalom, Laha Alahayim, peace to the gods, Nawathan, Kal, Halalimla, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rocha Hakwadash, giving all praises to Yahweh in the name Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors unto the elder apostles, elder bishops, and heads and elders of all the camps of Great Millstone, GMS, who do rule well, who have learned this 100% truth from, who are the true leaders of all Israel, Yasha Allah today, whether you can receive it or not. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the tabernacle of David, the Bayal, the water, the predestined spirits of election that the Lord is closing up the breaches thereof in these last days. 12,000 men, prophets of each tribe of Israel, the governing body in the kingdom to come, the 144,000 scattered abroad, as well as the innumerable multitude of men, women, and children. All right, the remnant, the remainder of the elect scattered abroad. All right, rehearsing the righteous acts to the best of their ability. That includes a 1/3 here in Babylon the Great. This is your brother Tazapanya of the Great Millstone, Washington, D.C. camp, Adawan Ratazar, Lord willing. This spiritual commentary, digital epistle, is edifying to the elect. Okay, so, the Lord been having on my spirit to go into these talking points because we're coming into a new system, and the how would you explain it? The knowledge, right, of what we're entering into is quintessential, all right, for us to be not ignorant of Satan's devices. Let's start off with that. Salaki been trying to figure out a starting point on where to go about this, because I did a spiritual commentary on tokenization, so that Akim, why very few Akwath could have a better understanding of what that is. And I want to do the same thing when it comes to these stable coins, because you're going to be hearing a lot of these talking points in the mainstream media, social media, alternative media, all right? If not now, but very, very soon, to where your everyday, six-pack Joe is starting to ask and see what these things are. Because if you don't know, you're going to be left behind the curve, all right? I guess it's always something wrong with that iPad, man. So it's good to have a physical sword around. So we're going to go to the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 2, and verse 11. And it reads, "Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." You see? And this stable coin is one of his devices. All right? This is not talking about the spiritual demon Satan. In the Greek is satanos, which means an adversary, all right, that is likened unto a man. So this is the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan, which would be the Edomites, all right, if you can receive it through the spirit. All right, they are the nation that is completely adverse, was created to be adverse to the right-hand side will of the Heavenly Father Yahweh through his son Yahweh Shai. They are have that anti-Messiah spirit on them, because the anti-Messiah, what the world calls Antichrist, it is a spirit, and there's many Antichrists, as the scripture says. So lest the so-called white people, the true nationality, are Edomites, specifically the international banking families, because that's what we're going to get into. Unless they should get an advantage of us, because they're coming with technology that is so let's say left-handed miraculous, okay, that people is going to be perplexed, not only in the lack of resources understanding, but in a mind fuck, not really knowing what's going on. because they didn't sit here and study. They didn't sit here and watch. They didn't they're ignorant of small matters and great matters. Okay, so this is why they are going to get taken advantage of. All right, because they are ignorant of his devices. So we're going to get an understanding of what stablecoin is for those that do not know, because this is going to be the new financial system, the B system. It's going to be using stablecoins, and what I'm going to break down, filter through the scriptures, is that the one that is coming out is the central bank digital currency. And I have a video that I did 6 months ago that basically was proving that from the uneducated economists. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to let this play.
Stablecoin RLUSD is right around the corner from its public launch date. A lot of people do not know the difference between XRP and RLUSD. In this video, we want to explain why Ripple's new stablecoin is not only what the United States needs, but quite possibly what the world needs for the gold standard of stablecoin use. Hi, this is Nathan with Crypto Ledger, and if you've ever wondered why stablecoins are necessary in this new digital economy, we're going to answer those questions for you today. I'm going to transition now to a short clip from Monica Long, president of Ripple. She makes a very profound statement concerning stablecoins.
To those fundamentals of, if we think that blockchains are here to revolutionize finance and to create a new future of decentralized finance, you need to have representations of currencies on blockchains. So it's that fundamental, like to make decentralized finance happen, you need these stable coins.
Next, we're going to listen to Brad Garlinghouse as he's being interviewed by a Japanese TV station.
Coming here with sort of good news, I guess, for people who have been following what you do. You could be launching your stablecoin a bit faster than most people thought.
Well, we've always been kind of consistent that we're going to do everything we can to launch this year. Everything Ripple does is in conjunction with regulatory approval, licensing, and so
if you notice here, he just did a 60-minute interview. I don't know, I might play it, okay? But this video came out about, what does it say, 2 months ago. Today, the actual Ripple's stablecoin, all right, did get approved by the NYDFS, the New York Department of Financial Services, through regulatory approval. Okay, so then one has to ask, what is a stablecoin, which is going to be answered in today's video. So they was expecting the stablecoin to go live, and now it's about to go live because it just got approved. Okay, and why is this big? Because now we're coming into the situation where the United States government, all right, is starting to have put up the guardrails, all right, the regulations for this crypto. Okay, so what does that mean? That means we're coming into the system where a great crisis has to happen eventually, all right, and whatever scenario might happen. But as the cash goes away, and then everybody's going to be using crypto that is issued by your central banks, where they have the control over your finances, okay? And it's going to be gradual, because remember, these devils like to use gradualism, but the stepping stones, all right, are getting increased by the day now, all right? When the scriptures, matter of fact, let's go get it. Let's go get it real quick, if I can find it, cause not if I can find it, if this iPad, bro. And matter of fact, yeah, it works on this app. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 22. It says, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake those days shall be shortened. So the time is actually shortening and speeding up. So these prophecies is not tarrying. All right, let's go to Habakkuk 2 real quick, and then we're going to get to the main crux of the video. Okay, so this is the book of Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 3. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. So the prophecies seem like they was going to take long, but as we're measuring the time diligently in itself, Second Esdras 9:1, all right, we're seeing that it's actually not tearing. It is surely coming, all right, because we're looking out for the MOTB, and these are all steps to get to the mark of the beast.
A key issue that we will continue to make sure we are partnered with U.S. regulators before we go live with the stablecoin.
So look, so remember when Bitcoin and these cryptocurrencies came out, right? They was of the talking point of, oh, we're deregulated, we're separated from the government, we don't want privacy. We want privacy and we don't want people overseeing it. Come to find out that it's all privacy. Every transaction is recorded, surveilled, and tracked through blockchain technology. Now that money is being made, the government don't want people to be doing illegal practices and money laundering and fraud and things of that nature with crypto, because supposedly it's outside of the financial system when they're the ones that created that digital financial system. It was nothing but a Trojan horse, okay, to get people acquainted with the new and improved fiat system, which is all digital. Because if you think that they can print money now, imagine on the computer, they could just upload any amount of zeros and put it into your digital wallet. All right, that's connected to your digital ID. That's connected to your social credit score. All right, in order to give you universal basic income, free money every month. All right, so on. That's connected to your digital passport. You see what I'm saying? All these grapho, all right, which is the root word of where you get the term Karax, all right, which is the actual medical utensil, all right, syringe, so to speak, that injects the charagma, which is the superconductor, the semiconductor, all right, that goes subdermally under your skin, okay, in order for the main purpose of buying and selling. All right, so now you have them going to governments, even though they was created by the government anyway, showing you this Hegelian dialectic, problem, reaction, solution. They're the ones that cause the problem to get the people to react because they already had the solution. Okay, it was all set up from the get-go. All right.
We'll first issue it, we expect in the U.S., but we think there's opportunity for stablecoins globally, and certainly Japan.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. But when we're talking about the US, we're talking about a matter of weeks for this launch.
Yeah, our expectation has been to move as quickly as we can. Some people I think thought that would be the very end of the year. We won't know for sure until regulators say, yes, we have the green light.
Tell us a little about the use case. How does this really differentiate from your token itself? Because that's also being talked about, the payment system, right?
Right. We've always used XRP, the digital asset that's kind of native to our technology stack. We've used that as a bridge asset to transfer money across borders. What we have found is that stablecoins, particularly.
See, what people now, it's like you have to be able to get to a higher rulership king type mindset. You see what I'm saying? Because in the kingdom, we are the ones that's going to be controlling everything, all the resources. Okay? See, we're under the curses right now, right? Deuteronomy 28, it says that we shall be the tail and our enemies shall be the head. They shall lend and we shall borrow, because in Proverbs it says the borrower is servant unto the lender. You see? So we're servant unto the central banks because that's where we get all your credit from, your debit from. All right. So we're going to be the ones that is controlling all the resources in the kingdom. So once you understand when he's saying his currency was created for cross-border payments, that's the regular everyday person is not sending money from one country to the next country, all right, and talking about in large volume, all right. Your little, okay, you got family in Mexico or in Panama or Jamaica, something like that, and you sending them family over there because you working over here and you sending them half of your paycheck so it can help out the family down there and stretch it, and they can help build your concrete house so that 10, 15 years later on down the line, you move out of America to go back to there. You see, no, with your little hundreds and or thousands of dollars. We talking about multi-billions of dollars. We're talking about multi-trillions of dollars that is going to be sent from one kingdom to the next in a matter of seconds. In a matter of seconds. We're talking about quantum computing, things that can process trillions of information and data a millisecond. You understand what I'm saying? This is so the type of technology that we about to see has already been perfected in the private world, all right, decades ago, okay? And they're about to push or switch the great reset, all right? So again, we're gonna let this play.
US dollar stablecoins has gone from a pretty small market to today it's about $170 billion worldwide. And people think that may end up being 2 to 3 trillion in about 5 years.
So Brad gives us some interesting numbers here. The stablecoin market is worth about 170 billion right now, and within the next 5 years could go to 2 to 3 trillion dollars. Now, this next part of this clip, I want to pay close attention because Brad talks about the utility of a stablecoin versus XRP and how the certain use cases actually are better to use a stablecoin.
We already have used stablecoins in our payment flows for certain corridors, depending upon whether you're going to Australian dollar or Philippine peso. Certain corridors, it's more efficient to use a stablecoin at times. So we always use what's best for the customer, and we decided to go live and build our own stablecoin, and excited to get live with that this year.
So the next thing we have to unpack is what makes stablecoins stable? Well, that depends on what they're backed by. Let's listen to Jack McDonald with Ripple and see what he has to say.
Stablecoins, as the name implies, are digital tokens that are designed to be less volatile than other types of cryptocurrencies or digital assets. There are different types of stablecoins. Some are backed by other cryptocurrencies and are going to be inherently more volatile, while others are designed to be more stable, and those are the ones that are really backed by government-backed securities or sovereign-backed securities. So let's think about a US dollar or a euro or a Japanese yen. You give me a dollar or a euro, I give you a digital token representing that dollar or euro.
So notice that the stable coin is just like the actual US dollar right now. Remember, there was a point in time before probably most of us was born, me in particular, where you was able to take $1, right, and exchange it for the amount of silver or gold that Federal Reserve note would give you. You see, it was an IOU. So you would put your gold into the bank. They would give you a paper note, which is an IOU, and then because gold is heavy and to carry around, so on and so forth. And whenever you want to get your gold back, you would take your money to the bank and they'll give you in respective how much gold it's worth. But because of Amalek, right, the Edomites, the devil that the Bible speaks of, and the lack of understanding from the masses, they took the banking industry and was able to have a conglomerate and a power structure over the whole world through debt and fractional reserve banking. Okay, because you're giving up custody, which gives up your rights to your own money once you give it to somebody. All right, to hold it and to take care of it. And while they're holding it, all right, they only have 10% of the money that you put in there, because the rest of the 90% of that money, they are investing in whatever they want to make money with your money. And while, and if you want to get a loan, which you're getting a loan from other people's money, they're giving interest on that loan that compounds over time. So you owe them more money. Hence, more debt is created than the actual circulation of Federal Reserve notes that's been minted by the Treasury. And I don't want to get too technical with it, but this is nothing but a continuation on the digital scale. But on the digital scale, this new system, anything could be created out of thin air. So it's literally infinite, right? As much as you can make a number to Googleplex, right? Infinite amount of debt and an amount of slavery if Esau were to continue ruling. You see what I'm saying? Because they knew the bubble was going to pop with the dollar, all right? Through you're born with approximately $113,000 of debt as soon as you come out the womb. based upon how they set up the system, Social Security, the Medicaid, and certain insurances, your parents, so on and so forth, so on and so forth, man. You see what I'm saying? So this devil has to be stopped. So stable coins are pegged, all right, either to currencies, which makes it volatile, but the more stable coins are pegged to sovereign-backed or government-backed commodities or securities. Now look what he's about to say. Let's run that back again.
Backed securities. So let's think about a US dollar or a euro or a Japanese yen. You give me a dollar or a euro, I give you a digital token representing that dollar or euro. You can do lots of different things with it. You can invest with it, you can save it, you can use it as a store of value. And at the end of the day, when you want that dollar or euro back, you give me the token, I give you the euro. You have the confidence that it's stable, it's retained its value, and it has the same value on the way out as it did on the way in. That's why stable coins are stable.
All right, so like you said, it has the same value on the way out as it does on the way in. That's what makes stablecoins stable. But again, you mentioned what they're backed by. And so we need to go to this article on X.com from Mr. Mann.
And then now what we're seeing emerging is, stablecoins being issued by regulated entities. So I can't give you the names yet, but there's two projects we're working on, one in the UK and one in the US, working with banks that are regulated, who will be issuing stablecoins, and the reserves will likely be held at a central bank in a central bank account. So very different from the algorithmic stablecoin.
So he mentions the reserves will be held in the central bank itself, which is very different from the algorithmic stablecoins. Now, algorithmic stable.
Now, let's break that down on what he just said.
Stablecoins.
Okay, we have to really understand. Now, remember, 2 years ago, right, on your alternative media, everybody was talking about how bad CBDC. Nobody knew about CBDC. The prophets was redoing the research, pushing it out there. You had a certain amount of little truth the guys on the YouTube. The next thing you know, everybody knows about a C. But still to this day, you talk about a CBDC to your random six-pack Joe, and they don't know shit about a CBDC. CBDCs is now, taboo subject. This is why, Nero, right, came out with, if I come in the office, I'll ban CBDCs. They don't need, and they're not going to call it a CBDC. They just said the reserves of a stable coin is in the central bank. So a stable coin is a digital currency, but the reserves of it that keeps it stable and pegged is inside of a central bank. So what does that tell you? That's a central bank digital currency. They put in the name stable coin on it. And Ripple today just got the approval from the government to come out with their own stable coin, which the Ripple USD, the real USD reserves is going to be in the American Central Bank because they are working with the government, hence why regulatory approval. Now remember, Ripple was the same one that I keep telling y'all is working with the US Navy and DARPA in Denmark to create a Ripple compatible microchip. You can't make this shit up, bro. You see? So the United States ain't going to be like, oh, this is our central bank digital currency. No. So this shit is live. If I can pull it up and I can show, but I put it on the thumbnail for this video. But look it up. Type in Ripple stablecoin approval. And it's going to show everywhere. Today, they just got approval. So what I'm pushing is that you have to know of these things. These things is going to, the talking points, we got to be ahead of the game on what's coming. We know the end, right? For we know in part, we prophesy in part. We have a more sure word of prophecy, as the scripture says. So we know that the mark of the beast is coming out, which is the RFID chip. All right. And then you now having a lot of people having that understanding as they seeing it. But see, the Wada Yabashim Shah from giving us that faith. All right. Giving us that vision to see years on end. Just like how he told what's the name? What was it that I'm gonna paraphrase here that you neither seen Yahweh Shah, but yet you believe that he was the Son of God. So you're blessed. So we have the testimony of Yahweh Shah, which is the spirit of prophecy, because before these prophecies come to pass, we believe that that's what it is what it is, according to the scriptures. All right, so let's hear that again.
I can't give you the names yet, but there's two projects
way out as it does on the way in. That's what makes stablecoins stable. But again, he mentioned what they're backed by. And so we need to go to this article on X.com from Mr. Mann.
And then now what we're seeing emerging is, stablecoins being issued by regulated entities. So I can't give you the names yet, but there's two projects we're working on, one in the UK and one in the US, working with banks that are regulated, who will be issuing stablecoins, and the reserves will likely to be held at a central bank in a central bank account. So
issuing stable coins, but the reserves are in a central bank. You can't, come on, like if digital currency, but the reserves are in a central bank. What is that? Central bank digital currency, bro.
Very different from the algorithmic stablecoin.
So he mentions the reserves will be held in the central bank itself, which is very different from the algorithmic stablecoins. Now, algorithmic stablecoins would be USDT Tether or USDC Circle, and those two are the main US stablecoins that exist today. Tether being the biggest, but
so this is the first of its kind for those brothers that are, in the crypto. About Tether. You know what I'm saying? USDT. And see, this is what's going to happen is eventually these stable coins is going to be used, whether there's a bail-in on your money and you want your money back. The only way they're going to give you it back is if you get it through their digital currency, which is going to be on some type of phone app or something like that. All right. And then now it's tracked and traced because they gave it to you and they created the token because it's programmable. You see, and it's going to be pegged to the US dollar, but the US dollar is $36 trillion in debt. You see? So it's going to swallow all of that debt up, which is going to cause, other currencies to go up in price because of the circulation. Cryptocurrencies I'm talking about. But the point here is nothing but kicking the can down the curb when it comes to the rulership of Esau Edom. You see? And that is going to stop because Yahweh Shah said so. He's going to destroy these kingdoms because this is nothing but a cloaked maximum security prison on a distributed ledger, all right, with this left-handed technology. It's nothing but witchcraft, bro.
Tether did not get regulated by the micro regulations in the EU.
So look, Tether didn't get regulated. So the main stable currencies that's in use now are not regulated. But Ripple, that created XRP, that has a microchip already ready for it, all right, has been the one to work with the government, all right, to be regulated. So anything that is not regulated, because they've been pushing out there, crypto is a scam, this and that and the third, they're gonna crash. While the ones that are regulated is gonna go to the moon, which is gonna cause people to want to invest because it's making money. But then there's a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the way thereof is death, because eventually, if you get rich off of it, right, you're gonna have to take the chip to keep your assets. This is why the parable, with the rich young man, all right, what can I do to receive everlasting life? And he said, keep the law, basically. He said, I've been doing this since my youth. He said, then sell what thou hast, all right, and follow me. But he had many possessions. You see, so a lot of people, 2025, the Lord might give them what they wanted. They tried to vote Trump in because of stimmies, right? Stimulus checks, right? You see, we was doing way better when Trump was in office. So Nero gonna come back in here and might give you a good 3 to 6 months with your bag is up, your bag is loaded, full of chips, right? You counting your shekels, you know what I'm saying? Like it's nothing, all right? Talking about Jake here, and then Jake is going to be caught up in the hour of temptation eventually when that come about, when they push the chip upon the whole world, man.
Circle is approved, and so they're going to remain. But I believe that when the RLUSD comes out, Circle and Tether will take a back seat to Ripple's stablecoin because of this very reason. The backing of what backs the stableness or the value of the Ripple stablecoin is going to be in the central bank. That's where the reserve.
You see that? So, it's all about the bankers, man. This is the wicked. This is the devil that the Bible speak of. So, who's behind the number one regulated uh, company in cryptocurrency, XRP Ripple? The central bankers. Who are the central bankers according to the scriptures? Lucifer. All right, the elite. All right, the international banking families, the Amalekites, your small hatters, the you wish you was us people. All right, that's who, man. All right. So it seems all good. Remember, even Satan himself would transform himself to an angel of light, with angel being a messenger of some type of wisdom. You see what I'm saying? And he's selling you this, get rich quick, which that's it's a truth, but it's a half truth, because he's not saying in order to retain it, you gotta worship him and take his chip. You see? So if your faith is not grounded, all right, on Yahweh Shai, a lot of people gonna stumble.
Are going to stay. That gives us a safety net, realizing that the RLUSD will always be pegged 1-to-1 with the US dollar. As we continue to learn about the backing of the
So that's
USD, we look at paymentsjournal.com article, and it talks about the three other stable coins that are out there. It talks about
that's it. So now I'm gonna go to the video that I made 6 months ago. Potential out. All right, we're gonna listen to this, close it out. Shalom, shalom. Peace, peace. Shalom, Alahayim. Peace to the gods. Now, Watan, Kal, Halal Yamla, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Bacha HaKodash. Giving all praises to Yahweh, in the name Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors unto the elder apostles, the elder bishops, and the head elders aboard the camps of Great Millstone GMS who do well. Salutations, peace, and blessings unto the house of David, predestined spirits of election, song on the governing body in the kingdom to come. 144,000, 12,000 men, prophets of each tribe of Israel, and the remaining innumerable multitudes scattered through their disobedience into the four winds of the earth. All right, including that 1/3 here in Babylon the Great that believe on the gospel. This is your brother Tazapanya Banyamyan. Adawan Ratazad. His spiritual commentary, quick hit, is edifying and straight to the point through the spirit and power of Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushua. So this is Uneducated Economist, and the title of his video is CBDC will be banned, because you have a lot of politicians that have been talking about your central bank digital currency. You know why? Because the government and these alphabet departments, through these algorithms and AI on the internet that they eventually want to shut down, are keeping tabs on what alternative media and potential outliers of society have to say, because the truth is revealing their devices. Okay? I mean, the scripture does say the wicked shall be revealed, and this is an unrighteous decree trying to give away a currency on a digital blockchain platform that is regulated and centralized through the central banks that they own. Okay, but he's going to give a scenario that is very possible, and I just wanted to warn the body about. So without further ado, hit the like button. When you hit that like button, the YouTube algorithm will pick up the video and spread it around for more people to join in, and it always makes it more fun when more people are joining in on the comment section of the live stream videos. Now, in today's video, we're going to be talking about the central bank digital currency, the CBDC. And this is something that has been a very popular topic of discussion for quite a few years now, essentially since China introduced their central bank digital currency, and other nations are introducing a central bank digital currency. Come to find out, China's central bank digital currency, the yuan, the infrastructure it was built upon was Ripple's technology.
currency. A lot of people figured it was only a matter of time before the Federal Reserve introduced their central bank digital currency. And a lot of talk of like the Fed Now or Fed Coin.
Come to find out, Fed Now and Fed Coin, which is going live March 10th, if I'm not mistaken, was built upon what? Ripple technology. You can't like,
Or, you know, something of that nature. Now, recently, the House passed a bill saying that they will ban any use of central bank digital currency, or even the Federal Reserve establishing a central bank digital currency. And I find this to be kind of comical because really, I never thought that the Federal Reserve was really going to set up a central bank digital currency in the fashion that a lot of other people had. Not because I didn't think that the Fed would do it, but because the Fed has been talking about something very different than a central bank digital currency. They're talking about stablecoins. Now, something that I found very interesting is before anybody even talked about central bank digital currency, I had brought up the IMF blog article talking about what it was that the central banks would need to do in order to go into negative interest rates. Now, this is the first time that I had seen where the IMF, or at least the idea of the global financial institutions out there, setting up a separate currency, an e-currency is the way they refer to it as. I left the link down in the description to it. Now, they were talking again about this way back in 2019, before anybody else was talking central bank digital currencies or anything like that. Now, if you go and you read through the article, their major concern was the lower bound of zero. Now, this is something that was taking place, you know, from all the quantitative easing prior to, you know, or post the great financial crisis. And then again, we had experienced, you know, zero interest rates again after the pandemic. But the lower bound of zero is very concerning amongst the central bankers out there around the world, as they have no longer have an effective tool for stimulating the economy. And now the idea is that if they took interest rates into negative territory, then the people out there would be unaccepting of this idea. They would run down to the bank, they would pull all their money out in cash, because at least if you have cash, it may not be an interest-bearing thing, right? Like you don't get an interest rate off of it. But if it's not the bank, then at least it wouldn't have a negative interest rate attached to it. So the IMF knew, like if they go into a negative interest rate, especially when it comes to the bank accounts people hold, they're just going to pull all their cash out, right? And then the banking system would suffer from the consequences of that. So they came up with this proposal to have two currencies.
So he's going to go into these two currencies, but just to explain a little bit with that negative interest rate. Okay, so basically, you know, interest rate, right, is that compounded interest. The Bible speaks about usury, okay, where you add a little extra tax on the back end when you hold the money, salaki. You know, it's like, for instance, we was young, they taught us you leave money inside the bank account, it accumulates interest over time. Who knows? I don't know, 6% or something like that. So next year, that same amount of money will have the 6% of that amount on top of it. And it's due to the fractional reserve banking, because they don't have the money and they're using your money to do investments and all type of unrighteous dealings in out the world of their agendas of the bank. So they give you that incentive. Oh, give us your money and we'll add interest onto it, compound it. But a negative interest rate will be that it actually is going to depreciate in value as you give it to us. So a negative 6%, you put in $100 is going to be $94 next year type of thing. So like he said, that is going to be pushed in, or that people don't want to have their money in the bank because it's going to lose value.
Cash and e-currency. So if you deposit your money in the bank, you're going to deposit it in e-currency. If you withdraw your money, you can withdraw it in cash.
And that's kind of how they started with right now. You deposit your money in the bank, you check your app, it's just numbers on an app. All right, but technically it's not a how would you say, a complete difference yet. And that's what they want to do under that guise, because if too much eyes is on the central bank digital currency thing, it may not work for them. Okay.
It would be two of them, two separate types of currency. And now the idea behind it is that at first it wouldn't make any difference. Nobody would even be able to tell the difference between these two. But if there was a separation from it, meaning that e-currency is different from holding cash currency, the paper currency, then what you can do is you can have a regulation that then says if you deposit or withdraw cash, you will be charged a fee, making it a nuisance to use cash. So when you go down to the store and say, no, I don't want to use e-currency, I'm backing away from the whole idea, I don't want to be part of the central bank digital currency type of thing at all, I'm not doing it, right? The store will be like, yeah, that's fine, we'll take cash, but we're going to charge you a fee for that because we get charged a fee to take the cash down to the bank and deposit it in the bank. And so now this is the way that they can get people out of the use of cash and move them into the e-currency. Right? Once they are moved into an e-currency and they have no other choice, right, but to be in the banking system, now they can attach a negative interest rate to those bank accounts and take rates down into negative territory.
And then I keep hearing too that, oh, stable coins is good because it's pegged to things, commodities that are, stable and government backed, right? So people that don't have access to banking can have access to it by crypto or a stable coin. You see, so they're trying to use some type of, oh yeah, we're here for everybody. This is why I said Satan, shall let's go and get that real quick. So people that's living in huts, people that's somewhat off the grid, they got Android phones and internet, and they're doing that just to connect them, right, to crypto, so that they can control their buying and selling. So when it says causeth all, everybody is going to be tempted to take that chip. Period, point blank. If you can't see it, you just might be able to see it. This is 2 Corinthians 11 and 14. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. So these devils think that they're a messenger of some type of wisdom by saying, we're doing this to help everybody. World hunger and lack of resources and money. And we can help everybody with money through universal basic income and get everybody on the internet and give everybody crypto, and they could be partake into the banking system, when it's all a ploy to control them.
And now, again, this is what the IMF was making or coming up for a suggestion on what it is to do once the central banking systems have hit the lower bound of zero. Right? This was the whole point. All the
so no, it's Hegelian dialectic. So the International Monetary Fund has already put out reports when this monopoly game is starting to come to a close, and the chickens are coming home to roost, so to speak, dealing with this debt-backed fiat currency, okay, and things are starting to go haywire. Then they're going to enact this type of agenda where they're going to push a cashless society, because that's essentially what he's saying. Because if you want to use cash and you want to put it in our banks, it's going to be a fee. So instead of doing that, you're going to want to just to get paid in that e-currency or cryptocurrency or digital currency, which is going to have that understanding of what we now understand as such a big digital currency, but it's not going to have that name because too many people know about the what's the name? How do you I'll think of it, but CBDC. Okay. So it's going to be called another thing. And he's basically saying with these stable coins, and I'm gonna get the definition. So look, it took 6 months now for when this just came out, I did this video, and now we at the point where stable coins is here, literally. So 2025, watch. Lord willing, Nero is going to come and say, oh, this and that and the third. You know, I'm all about the US dollar. So we got a crypto that is basically the dollar digital. It's a digital dollar. But, you know, yo, watch how he flip it. It's going to be crazy. With stable coins in a minute. All right. And what he's not going to bring up, but even though he's talked about it, I feel like it's going to be involved with UBI, of course, because if you're not getting paid in cash or direct deposit through the old system, the new system, these stable coins is going to be regulated, okay, by the ISO 222 coins that they already set up, and they'll pay you through it. And whether you work or not, you'll get that free money, and it's going to come with a price. Now, what was the first crypto that went to the government to be regulated by the new standardization system regulations ISO 222 XRP? Made by who? Ripple.
Control, all that other stuff. Yeah, that's a big scary part of the central bank digital currency, but that is fear mongering. That is not the intent of what it is that they are trying to do. If they create a currency that is that kind of nuisance, if they create one that is not free flowing, if they create one that is surveilling, if they create one that is going to be problematic for the people will find other ways of doing transactions. They do not want to do that. They want people to widely accept it, to accept that as if it was cash, accept it with confidence, accept it with, security. That's what they want for an e-currency, because anything else would fail, right? They have to have the competency, like that's a word. They have to have the competence in order to, I make up words, by the way. They have, in order to create the situation in which that people would be willing to use it. And if no, but notice he used confidence, hence the word a con man, a con game. You're getting con. Con meaning what? Confidence. A con man persuades you to have confidence in him, that you're trusting that this transaction is going to be righteous and upheld in a pure manner. You see? So yeah, they want that so-called e-currency and the people to accept it widely because they have confidence in them. And how they do it is make it all hell around you. You see? They don't recognize it as two different currencies, cash and e-currency, then it will work. The moment that people recognize it as two different currencies, then they will have a problem. So notice, when you don't recognize something, that means what? You're confused. Right. So this is why I think a crisis still has to happen. Something has to happen to the dollar or the system that surrounds the Federal Reserve note in order for the people to have that false understanding that these two separate currencies are one currency. Kind of like how these wacky tacky plantation Renaissance anti-Christians think that three separate entities, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, is actually one entity. You see the nonsense behind it. So, using that understanding, how can you make two equal one? Right? So a crisis has to happen to get them all, discombobulated in the head in order to accept the somewhat similarity of a digital side of a new currency to resemble and act like your regular everyday cash. Hence the deceive. Okay? So they're gonna deceive. This is why it says, well, be not deceived. You see what I'm saying? But we are not ignorant of Satan's devices, man. So we have to be able to watch everything that's going on in the financial sector. And just to add on what Elder Apostle Tahar say, in the Levant region, okay, because we are occupied in prophecies, Ecclesiasticus 38:1. Right? Because one will be better than the other. Gresham's law, okay, again, and the bad money will chase out the good. So the important part about the whole e-currency is to make sure that people do not see it any other way. They see it as either as cash, or they see it as like a deposit in the bank, but they don't see it as a separate currency as far as like a digital currency and an e-currency or in a cash currency. That's the important part to establish. Over time, they will recognize it because the cash will become a nuisance and it'll have a fee, attached to it. So I don't,
and they kind of tried to do that with the Naira in Nigeria. Those psychological.
Believe that the Federal Reserve is actually looking to have a central bank digital currency. I think that would be very problematic when it comes to congressional applications to it, because really it takes an act of Congress in order to change the currency. And when it comes to the Federal Reserve, they cannot literally print up money and inject it into the system. A lot of people are confused by that. They think that's the case, but it's not. The Federal Reserve has to go through the purchases of particular assets, being treasuries, mortgage-backed securities, gold. They have to have these assets to buy, which is a problem for the government to be able to produce enough assets for the Federal Reserve to buy so that they can print up all this money to inject it into the system and have enough liquidity for everybody to participate in. Now, this is a very difficult thing to kind of wrap your head around what's going to actually happen into the future. But when it comes to the Federal Reserve and the establishment of a digital currency, I do not believe the central bank digital currency is in their mind. I believe stablecoins are.
You see, so 6 months ago he said this, and I did the video on it. Now we have a stablecoin by Ripple that just had regulatory approval, like I have in my thumbnail. All right. So now that he said that, I'm going to go on Investopedia, and this is the definition of stablecoins. Okay. Those that have working knowledge on crypto, they already know what it is. All right, but says, what are stablecoins? Stablecoins are cryptocurrencies whose value is pegged or tied to that of another currency, commodity, or financial instrument. Stablecoins aim to provide an alternative to the high volatility of the most popular cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, which has made crypto investments less suitable for common transactions. Key takeaways. Stablecoins are cryptocurrencies that attempt to peg their market value to some external reference. Stablecoins are more useful than more volatile cryptocurrencies as a medium of exchange. Stablecoins may be pegged to a currency like the US dollar or to the price of a commodity such as gold, which is funny because all of that is manipulated anyway, the gold prices and the US dollar. All right, it says stablecoins pursue price stability by maintaining reserve assets as collateral or through algorithmic formulas that are supposed to control supply. Stablecoins continue to come under scrutiny by regulators given the rapid growth of the 128 billion market and its potential to affect the broader financial system. Okay. So at that point in time, they was hard to get regulated, but now 6 months later, you have one that's regulated. Let's continue. And that's pretty much the point. I ain't want to make this too long. I know I did a lot of talking. The technicalities is a little, but we have to be aware of these things that's coming, and it's coming fast, man. All right, coming very. So I'm gonna leave off on Revelation, chapter 2, and verse 10. Revelation 2 and verse 10. No, Revelation 3 and 10. Salakia. This is Revelation chapter 3, verse 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. What's the hour of temptation? A time where everybody is tempted to make a decision, to take something or to not take it, which is the mark of the beast, which is the RFID chip. And the RFID chip, I believe now, through understanding growth, it's not going to be a CBDC, it's going to be a stable coin, which is one and the same ultimately. All right, because it's pegged to a commodity or to a crypto. All right, and the reserves are held in a central bank, like the one that just got regulatory approval today, Ripple's stablecoin, RLUSD. okay, which is going to swallow up the debt of the US dollar, which is going to increase trillions of dollars of money movement, okay? It says, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So this is the beginning of sorrows. Things are just going to ramp up, and we're going to start to see, as these months are coming in, the changing of the financial system very quick. Everybody remembers 2019, 2020, and how shit went so quick in the QR codes and to these type of passports and bracelets you was having in certain spots and this and that and the third. All right. So the trust and believe this thing could overnight have that like, yo, what's going on? Damn, we in a whole nother world. All right. So keep your eyes on the prize, the kingdom of heaven. All right. Put your treasures there because this place is about to pass away. Call all y'all Bashir Shah, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shah. Y'all Bashir Shah, Brakatham, everybody that's tuning in. On to the next one. Shalom.